Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. We can start. Today is March 20th, 2019. It's the City of Laredo Blue Ribbon Committee for People with Disabilities, and if you can, the second item is the review and approval of the minutes of February 27th, 2019. If you all could do that. Go ahead and read that. If there are any changes, revisions, corrections that need to be made, you can do that now.
Mr. Chairman, I wanted just to thank Andrea, because she's been doing the minutes since Ms. Ramos wasn't able to attend the last meeting, so.
I know, I sent you, did you get my text email? Yeah, I wanted to thank her. I said they're very complete, they're very accurate, so.
Move over, Ms. Ramos.
You've been recorded,
they're
She's gonna be, what?
Mr. Delgado, did you have time to review, we attend the minutes, so
Yes.
right now they're reviewing the minutes, I don't know if you have.
Oh, yes, I have received your email.
And you're okay with them?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I don't see any corrections.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, someone
I
move
move
to approve?
to approve.
In a second? Thank you. The next item is public comments. If there are anyone signed up to have any kind of comments regarding today's agenda.
Mr. Chairman, no one signed up.
Next item is discussion and possible action on next steps for the update on public service announcements to hire persons with disabilities. I know that last time when we departed, there had been some sharing of information of who were the contact persons at every district, and I'm not sure who was to follow up.
Well,
and
I
Mr.
think
Chair,
it's
I
like
have
today,
an update, yes. Well, okay.
Erica's been
So, we did reach out to both points of contact from UISD and LISD and identified the students that are going to be filmed. We do have it on the schedule for tomorrow. We are going to Peter Piper Pizza on Guadalupe Street to film one of the students from Cigarroa High School. We had originally wanted to book both of the students in the same morning due to also scheduling restrictions with PAC, but it's looking like UISD is still pending. As I understand, that particular student tomorrow has a presentation at the Sheriff's Center because you are having an event. So we're just finalizing some dates there to move forward, but we should have it ready by next week.
Because I
At least
received a
the
phone
filming.
call, it was gonna be today at 9. It wasn't today, they canceled it, rescheduled it.
If I'm completely honest, it was, my days are a little
Okay, that's fine.
off sorts. I'm like trying to carry my
Yeah.
calendar everywhere
That's
because
fine.
tomorrow means Thursday in my head, but it was Wednesday.
Okay.
So I do apologize for
That's
that, and I
fine.
spoke to Miss Christie,
Dickey.
Miss Dickey, this morning, and I
Okay,
apologized, because, PAC wasn't available, they're not available Friday, but, she's gonna get back to me on some dates.
Okay.
And then for sure tomorrow, we are set at 10 a.m. To film for the LISD students, so, of course, PAC will be there, I will be there, I don't know if a member wants to,
I will
join.
join.
Oh, okay, perfect,
I'll be there.
so,
Which pizza, is there only one?
Guadalupe.
it's on Guadalupe Street, the Peter Piper Pizza.
Just let me know when you have to second attend.
Yes, oh, definitely, I'll keep you in the contact,
Okay, I just wanted to thank the school districts for participating and helping us out.
Yes, they're very enthusiastic, they're very accommodating, they're looking forward to that. I've heard feedback that the students are very excited about this project, so I think it'll be good. The only thing I wanted to, maybe just follow up once more with the committee is, we're gonna do a general, what do you do, what what do you like, what do you dislike, kind of very casual interview, but if you want us to point at certain questions for either the students, we are gonna reach out to management there as well, see if they want to appear, for an interview on camera, and as well, the vocational, teacher, or I don't know if one of the members wants to also do a brief interview. I mean, PAC is also very accommodating. They're great when it comes to filming. So, and providing good feedback to get a good video developed. So I just want to make sure that we hit all that the committee's trying to
So
do to accomplish
tomorrow you all will be filming the individual.
at their work site.
So will you also be interviewing the employer at that time?
We do want to, we are gonna reach out to them about that, and I did express that to the vocational teachers when I scheduled the appointments, is that we were trying to get those two. It's just, I don't have a solid confirmation, so, and I also don't want to be like, you have to get on camera, you know, cause some
Right.
people are a little,
Camera shy.
yeah,
Okay.
so. But if anything, we do have approval to be at the work site, see them, you know, working, and of course, the students will be interviewed.
Yeah, just 'cause you guys are already there, and so it'd be real convenient just to do everything simultaneously.
Yes, definitely, but we will try to incorporate, the employer as well, or at least just get some comments and, you know, try to incorporate it that way.
Mr. Chairman, Erica will try her best, because we know that that's what you all want, and also hear. The two important factors is testimonial from the actual person, but then hearing the employer that this is easy, that it's good employees, which is what you all wanted to hear, so.
Well, I think the idea was to make sure that other employers see their counterparts doing or participating, and, you know, what convinced them, or what was the culture within the organization that finally we decided that we were gonna move in this direction and hire people with disabilities. And I guess that's what we're trying to do.
Yes.
Well, I think it's also going to have an impact to see the students at the work site and, you know, the work that they're doing, and that in itself, I think, to see them in that environment will already be of benefit, so, but we'll try. We'll approach management, or even maybe a fellow coworker, that could provide comments of what it is to have that working relationship with the student. So, we'll see, we'll try to get as much content as possible. After that, like I said, PAC is very accommodating, so we could also, provide feedback, or they could tell us kind of, you know, how we'll navigate the editing and for the final product.
Sounds good, and thank you for all the work that you do
Of course.
to convince these people.
I try to.
The next item we have in that same, agenda item is progress on hiring persons with disabilities working with the chamber, schools and individual corporate partners. I know that we have discussed the possibility of approaching some of the larger organizations that already have individuals with disabilities working for them, and seeing if they could, give us some pointers, I guess, as to how to approach other organizations, to convince them to hire individuals with disabilities.
Mr. Chair, on this, in previous meetings, you discussed this, and, some of you were gonna speak to the individual corporate,
Correct.
persons. You all suggested also sending them letters. It was put on hold because I think priority was developing the PSA, which is now on its way. But do you wanna revisit and sending letters? HEB corporate supports this,
Yes.
and, but why not, or to what extent Ladell? Walgreens corporate supports this, is the Walgreens and Laredo reflected, and so
And you're
You need to let us know.
You're absolutely right, Doctor. We've gotta get, Dr. Gonzalez, we've gotta get to at the corporate level, cause sometimes we're trying to tread water here at the local level, and for whatever reason, you know, the red tape and this, that, and the other. But if we go to the corporation directly, which with Walmart, that's where I'm trying to knock on that door, or not trying, knocking on that door, trying to get some responses, because here at the local level, it has been like pulling teeth. And I know that one of the speakers at one of the conferences for TWC was some high-end, and I believe I've got his card, I've gotta look for it, director who headed a whole department on working with individuals with disabilities. So you're absolutely right, you hit it on the nail. We've gotta go to the corporate level, and that way it'll trickle down.
And it is a big item right now. If you look at the what's it called, the TV, you see a lot of advertisements that says what's wrong. You know, it's like hire someone with a disability. So it is a big movement right now. I know HEB locally and in San Antonio we've been outreached because they have a program called Bridges. Bridges is a program that bridges transition from the schools to the workplace. As a matter of fact, we're in collaboration with them right now to develop with the school district being involved a work experience training in the South Side for hearing impaired. If you do reach out to the corporate level, you need to make friends with the local level because it's got to be one of those things where everyone buys into it. HEB has a big movement right now where they're saying if we can implement this and it works, then other people will follow because we're a big corporation. But Diana is right. We have to hit those individuals. And I know that it sounds time consuming, but a letter is great for starters, but people, our culture requires a human touch. They need to put a face to it. Unless they put a face to it, it means nothing. HEB shared a story with our company in San Antonio about a young man who is now, I say young man because he's a man with intellectual disability. He worked for HEB for 30 years. He retired. But see, if you're a sacker with HEB, you don't ever get a raise unless there's an increment in wage as labor, okay? So all his life he was a sacker. They missed it. When they were reviewing his paperwork for him to retire, they were overwhelmed because they said, we missed it. He was never really a partner because if the idea of a partner is that the partner moves from here to here. He could have been cross-trained and he was never trained. No one ever caught it. He just showed up to work, didn't complain, didn't ask for anything. The company decided to take a stand and say, we're going to go beyond this. So they're implementing strategies and procedures so that that never happens again because the company is taking a stand of actually as incentivizing his retirement so that it is better than what it was going to be because he started off at $2.35 I think or $1 or something and retired at wages of $9 or $10 an hour when he could have retired with a $15, $20, $30 an hour job. So it's there's a story, but every corporation is there. You just have to navigate it. Okay.
Sure, then do you all, I remember in the discussion in the past, there were 5 main corporate partners.
Right.
Do you wanna concentrate on those, add to it, so we can send out a
There
letter?
were some letters sent out originally, to Alamo Draft House and
Yeah, we did, you did Alamo Draft House and the Mall del Norte.
And those
you
were
did.
those were initiated for the parking slots.
Parking
Right.
slot,
Right,
yes.
so we're talking about the initiative of having those doors open so that we can have individuals employed, right?
Yeah.
I think a letter to the corporate offices and then CCing your local offices, followed by the mayor saying, this is my dream for the city, would be invite them over. I know that it sounds ridiculous, but cafecito and pan de dulce, come and join us. Let's see how much a vision you have because they do companies feed off our population. So we want to incentivize them to be part of it, but we are small compared to what the mayor's dream is. So if we can get the mayor involved in creating a let's powwow session and let's put our hands together, I think it would really it trickles from the top.
Then just let me know, I know that 4 of the 6, 7, that Mr. Chair, you're the one who brought it up, was Wells Fargo's, Whataburger, Walgreens, and H-E-B. There's 2 other ones, I don't remember, but they're in the minutes.
Walmart is
Was it
Walmart.
Was it-
Walmart, Target also. I have a number for corporate, Target.
CVS would be one too.
Mhm.
Was Lowe's one of them as well?
Home Depot. Home Depot's a good group. Home Depot and Lowe's are good groups, but Home Depot's a lot more receptive to,
We'll look through the minutes, and yes, that's why I'm asking which ones do you want us to, because this one in particular was based on an article that you brought to our attention, to the committees, the relation they have in San Antonio with USAA as well, and it specifically had Wells Fargo, Whataburger, H-E-B, and I don't remember the others, but you just need to let us know who.
I would add the new companies coming to town at home. It's gonna be where Kmart used to be, and maybe Home Goods, which is part of TJ Maxx.
yeah.
Burlington just opened.
Burlington's
Their
opening a
new,
new
their new
warehouse.
store.
And Burlington used to hire our students, I don't know
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah.
I don't
And
You know,
understand.
their management changed
Changed
there,
it.
so I think it's just a matter of going back,
Going back.
re-educating, and you know, I'm sure that door would be open.
again.
Yeah.
And it does help if you have the mayor's support. It does help if the mayor is, and this is what we are, you know, we're the mayor's heart right here for people with disabilities. So having him, maybe declare a day of, diversified employment, you know, where we have a proclamation and say, we're inviting all these employers, you know, this is what our vision for Laredo is, followed by, are you buying into the vision? Because you're buying into the money you take out to us, so let's buy into the vision too, you know?
Does the city of Laredo, and I may be ignorant about this, but does the city of Laredo ever honor, celebrate those organizations that hire people with disabilities? Do you know, Dr. Gonzalez?
Not
Or
per
bring
se.
them up forward to during city council or something,
I don't think they've done that recently. I think that's a great recommendation
Yeah, I
from
think
you
so
all,
too.
because the recommendations that you've done, they've listened and taken action. For parking is one of them, the fees for Metro, you know, you all gave a recommendation and they listened
Yeah.
and took action, so I think I think that recommendation from you all will have an impact. They recognize private corporate partners for different things, so they have done it, but specifically for hiring people with disabilities, I don't think they've done that.
I think it's a good, thing.
And you know, we can do it in the Disability Awareness Month, which is October.
Yeah.
We can plan for something in October.
Yeah, have a write-up with the newspaper
Yeah,
and
and have a
stuff like that.
strategic plan in place and where
By that
everybody-
time, we should have our video that's
That'll
rolled
give us
out and
time.
stuff like that, so we could make a big to-do of it and at the same time open up opportunities in employment for.
So we can schedule a proclamation in City Hall.
Yeah,
And
I
so
think it'd be
again,
great.
all of that coming from you, and on the letter to corporate, usually, you're signing, the vice chair, we'll add, the mayor can sign it too.
Yeah,
All three
That
of you
would
sign
be,
it.
yeah, that would.
I think so too. San Antonio has done that, they've done proclamations, they've brought in employers. As a matter of fact, my daughter is part of a feasibility study that's going to be done, as part of her, some program that she's doing. They're gonna be issuing out, what is it called, surveys to the employers within the Seguin, Bronco, San Antonio area to determine what are the areas of need and why are employers not hiring? What do we need to do?
What do we need to do to help
Yes.
you?
Yeah, and
Mhm.
so that's something that we might wanna look into too.
And that could be in the conversation when we talk to these employers, you know,
Mhm.
say, hey, you know, help us put something in place that will make a win-win situation, you know. You're looking for an employee, we've got them, we just need to do the training in between so that everybody can understand what exactly they're needing. And a lot of pushback is they think they've gotta pay for the equipment and they don't know how all that goes.
Yeah.
Or they hire the person and they don't even have the equipment. So why don't we have a strategic plan where let's take care of all this first,
Mhm.
rather than the employee then coming, I'm like, okay, what am I doing here?
Yeah, they don't know the supports. I
No.
mean, when you don't know the supports, fear is what keeps people from
Yeah.
doing things.
So we can do that.
Well, that's takes care of corporate, Mr. Chairman, but you have schools and chamber and any
When I look at
recommendation.
chamber, we're
But they're
still on
large
we're still on their waiting list, right?
We're in the way, I had the opportunity to be with, Mr. Conchas in Austin, and I brought this up. He was gonna check with his staff, and, I'll ask Erica to follow up. Where are we on the agenda for the breakfast meeting? They have that every week. If for whatever reason, we're at the end, but we've been on their waiting list for a while. The mayor meets with them every week, and the mayor can bring this up too, on your behalf. And so we'll mention it to him, and talking about the mayor, I know we've confirmed a meeting for tomorrow to discuss this item with the mayor, and right now, you two are confirmed, but if anyone else at your discretion, Mr. Chair, wants to attend too, and this is purely discussing with the mayor the city's initiative in hiring people with disabilities. And that has been confirmed, and it's tomorrow at 1:00 at City Hall.
And with the chamber.
No, this is with the mayor.
Oh, just the mayor.
Actually, with the city
Oh.
managers, the
City
mayor's gonna try,
managers.
but it's, with the city, it's as important to, because the policy directives
Yeah.
come from the city manager. So you will be meeting with the interim co-city, managers, Ms. Rosario Cabello and Mr. Robert Eads. They both will be there, and that's at 1:00 at City Hall on the 3rd floor.
The meeting that's about to take place is due to a concern that Ms. Gutierrez brought up to me. And I wanna thank Dr. Gonzalez for pursuing this and following up on it and
Very much.
putting it together so quickly. And so I don't know if you feel compelled that somebody specifically at the table right now should be there as well.
Well, I think this committee is about one heartbeat, and so I think that when there's power in numbers, okay? No battle's ever won by one person except God takes care of it. And so this is one of those things where if we are gonna be the heartbeat of the city for individuals with disabilities, then we need to go past our realm and move forward in what we need to do. Not so that we can cause concerns but so that we can stir the waters and we can move forward, because this is the people we serve. I dedicated all my life to working with special needs, and this is the first opportunity that I have to go outside. I'm a Yorkie without a cage right now. So I'm not exactly sure what we're doing, but I do know one thing. I know that it is going to ripple down, and that's what we're supposed to do. We are supposed to we are perpetual, so we are supposed to move forward. And so if one person shows up and this is all we have, sometimes we don't make, but when we join together, when we come as a committee together, we incentivize people to want to, because there's an interest, you know? It's like when Best Buy has a Black Friday, people camp out for days. Okay, we need to camp out for the people we serve, and we need to make time, because your babies in the school are going to be 21, 22, 30 years old one of these days, and so it trickles from birth on. It gives parents hope that there are people like us who are wanting to make a difference.
Okay, so it's tomorrow at 1, 3rd floor, City Hall.
Conference room number 1. But, we'll be there, so, to meet you.
Then I will most definitely.
So do the school districts hire individuals with disabilities?
School districts. Okay, this has been one of the things that's happened. I've been in this area for about almost 5 years, and we have applied with people, and we've never had anyone hired.
I know that we have someone, I don't know.
I know there's some in the district, but I don't know when
And,
they're
and I've
hired.
had over 20, 30
Well, when
applicants.
they talk, well, I mean, I'm not the HR department.
And I'm being honest,
Oh my
okay,
God,
I'm
I
being
want to
really
tell
honest.
you.
I think the idea is, I had a meeting with one of our local post-secondary institutions. And we had the meeting of the minds, 15 people at the table and everything, and they said, well, we have to look at what is it called, the best qualified candidate. When you have someone with these special needs, they're never gonna be the most qualified candidate. HEB has something that most people don't have. They recognized they had an issue, and so what they said is, we're going to create a program called Bridges. Bridges means that people come in, they submit an application, and moves their application to the top so that they have an opportunity. It says what accommodations are necessary for this person to apply. They created something that said they have a system and procedures in place that I've never seen. Where if I went to Del Rio, I traveled 174 miles up and almost 400 miles going and coming to take someone for an interview. And the interviewer sat there and elaborated, which I've never seen done before on anywhere, because they took the incentive of elaborating. I think the school systems, because of the fact that they work with kids, they want the best qualified candidates, but there are a lot of clerical positions that are available. I've had two in UISD in 5 years, and we've had many apply, and LISD I've had no one hired. But many of them practice to the interview. We are not looking for practice in place. We're looking for people who want to wake up in the morning and say, I can feed my kids.
And Mr. Chair, in the schools, I would include the universities, and Ms. Sanchez can correct me or add to it, but your biggest employers in Laredo are your schools and colleges, your hospitals,
Yes.
the county, the city, and federal government. Just in Homeland Security, they have 3,000 employees. And then, of course, your corporate.
Now, your federal agencies are already hiring through Ability One companies.
CSI.
The PCSI, WTS, they service different areas, so your Ability One companies are taking care of those,
They're contracted.
other contracted, so that area is being taken, because they have to hire 95%, they usually have some Ability One contractors who are already doing that in different areas. However, in those other areas, I think education, is extremely important, understanding that there are pathways within pathways. A doctor has a nurse, the office staff, a custodian. If someone has a vision to work in that area, hey, there's things that they can do. They can file, they can answer the phone, they can greet people, there's places in San Antonio where we actually recently just had someone hired with special needs, and what they do is they're greeters. Someone comes in, and you know how they sit there for a long time, would you like a magazine, a glass of water? Those are things that we need to, because people don't think, someone who's a scanner, someone who just scans the material, because they don't feel comfortable working with people, but they like working with things. Those are things that if we propose to employers, they might be more receptive to hire.
To fit that individual.
And that's what we are all about. We're the sisters that cut and,
We're the enablers.
yes, that's right.
So if any of you can be at that meeting tomorrow at 1, we'd appreciate it.
I'm gonna try really hard to be there. I've got another meeting, but I'm gonna see if I can.
Hello.
We have a directors meeting tomorrow
Alright.
with the region, so.
You can send a representative if you want to.
Can we send someone? I can send someone. I can't be.
Somebody who represents the school districts.
Well, I'm just remembering the old days when I got scolded one time for
That's
saying
right. And that's what happened in the past. It's like, okay, don't send someone. Okay, sorry.
And I guess the only reason is because then you have a viable entity, you have that's just my opinion.
I just don't know how much questions, know what to say.
They can just send.
It's up to you.
Yeah, if you all feel that you can send someone that you feel comfortable in.
We have our transition coordinator who could definitely, I'm
Adan.
thinking he doesn't have anything. Adan.
Doesn't have
Adan.
anything.
I don't think he has the meeting that I have to be at, so a planned thing.
But he would be perfect. because he
He's
is a transition.
transition, yes.
And so he's bridging over and he can.
He's the one that
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking I could send, but I mean, I don't know if you all would want. So is that a yes or is that a no?
Tell me what you, the
Can
only,
I
the only
provide my
reason why,
opinion? I think that this initial meeting with the mayor should be
with us.
with the
That's
members.
And the only reason why is that
It's an
we
initial
were
meeting.
personally appointed by the mayor and the mayor's office, okay? And so I know that when, in the early days of this committee, when I couldn't make it, I would send someone. And the chair at that time,
Said no.
the guy I sent basically came back and said, don't ever send me there again, because I got beat up by the chair. Saying, who are you?
What are you doing here?
Who are you? Like, you're in the wrong place. It was like, no, and he'll send me, it's like, So,
And I
you
mean,
know,
these are open meetings, Mr. Chair, and there are welcome to attend. It's just when, the only difference is, and I think I recall that particular meeting, it's just a matter of, well, since you're not the member,
Right.
it influences quorum, any voting, any action that's gonna be taken by the committee, so that's why it's crucial for the members to be
And I agree,
present.
I think for this type of meeting, because it's, an initiating meeting.
Yeah.
There may be more down the road and then, you bring the party, but for this one, maybe,
Yes. That's what I
Just
think.
numbers, and I agree with Ms. Gutierrez, there would be strength in numbers, but I feel that maybe some of the topics that you are going to delve into would be more specific, especially because members know the history, know what you're trying, what your charge is, what you're trying to accomplish, and it would be
Makes
more.
sense.
and I'm gonna be totally honest with you. The only way you're gonna have an impact on this committee is if you express to them what you express to me.
Definitely.
And that may be an uncomfortable situation for
people who are
them
not in.
who are not part of this committee,
Yeah.
okay? And so I don't know how, if that's kind of absolute honesty, I don't know, maybe a smaller number of us would be more intelligent for that, okay? Because they may feel as though we ganged up on them and we brought all 10 of them today so that we could beat them up, okay? That's, and so maybe, if there was 3 or 4 of us that could go, that's fine. If you're gonna be there, I know that has Dr. Ruthinger confirmed.
She is not confirmed.
And so,
Yeah, and I agree, I think that's perfect.
Don't worry, I can talk
well,
I'll take my list.
I do think that you being present, okay, and expressing your concerns is vital, okay? Without you, the meeting would not be as effective as I think it should be.
That's entertaining.
You had a year of, the
Yeah.
interim directors, but it's especially from workforce, the members
Yeah,
of the
the
committee
workforce.
could be there as well, cause
We'll
it will be an education for you too. And it's your opportunity.
But I sincerely thank you, Dr. Gonzalez, for taking the time and taking the initiative. I'm a very passionate person, okay? Sometimes a bit too much for some people, but this is what my boss called me to do, so I'm going to do what I'm told to do because I think I only have one life to live, and so we're going to move forward and impact whoever we need to impact. Good, and sometimes it's going to hurt, but in the end, it's an amazing change.
Alright. So at least let me know, Miss Sabia, will you do it?
Yes.
Okay, I guess we can move forward.
We'll, Mr. Chair, then we'll draft letters for you,
For the combined.
for the companies, and then have the mayor sign them too once you approve the letter, and then we'll send them out.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez.
For the chamber, it's still pending, and for the schools, what did we say for the schools?
Maybe we should send the LASD HR department a letter as well.
Yes,
And I remember,
Include it in the letters.
No, and you are part of the, o sea, LA State University are a large employer, so yeah, they're gonna be in the mix, absolutely.
Is Dr. Nelson?
Yeah,
No,
hire
no,
her on
no.
the schedule.
No, no, we understand.
And
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, and I completely understand because in my situation, I actually had two young ladies just graduate last year from Tommy U, but we didn't initiate it the regular way where, hey, I have this individual that has a disability through their own efforts. Like they applied, one was already hired as a teacher, but again, it's actually three young ladies. They all have a visual impairment. One is legally blind and has Usher syndrome, which is hearing issue, but they haven't disclosed. None of them have disclosed, so this is through their own efforts. One's already a teacher, two others are teacher aides, but they have already been, they had a conversation where they're gonna offer them a teaching position once retires or
A
there's an
slot
opening,
comes
a
available.
slot. But it hasn't been because, like it worked out where, hey,
Right.
you have this, and they are extremely qualified individuals.
And it doesn't make sense that in a country like ours, we are not able to come in and say, we have supports for an individual and that we have to cover up who we are or what services we could receive because it becomes a barrier to employment. It should never be like that. I mean, if I needed to have surgery and I had to wait till the last minute, it would not be healthy for me. And it's not it's not a healthy way to bring up an organization. So we are supports, and in many cases, we want to assist, but we have to wait. We do what I call the Vietnam approach. We let them apply, and then we say, by the way, and it should never be like that because we should not, it's like we're embarrassed of what we have or what we were serving, and we shouldn't because we are, according to all the papers, it says equal opportunity employer. So
Well,
let's
that's the
practice
law.
what we profess. It's the law.
and I think that's what, I don't know, just seeing it on the other end of the spectrum is because we want to see that equality, some people would not want to disclose. Like, it just seems like there's also this personal decision or preference of whether, you talk about those, and we're talking about, oh, well, the district doesn't have anyone, or, this employee, we might not even know.
What are the
And they're-
statistics, Ceci? I mean, you would know more out of the 10 people, how many would?
Usually, well, it depends. It varies with age. Usually with the school districts, you're talking about what, 8.5% to 10%, depending on how you qualify. But you have people with special needs, and as you grow older,
Yeah.
we fall into
begin
that
to
cap.
set
It
in
begins to get in, and
elements.
you have a higher population, depending on demographics. So by the time you hit your 50s, your 50s, 60s, you have 30-40% of that particular group of people that are going to be in that area. Now, as far as disclosure is concerned, many people, the reason why they don't disclose, and it creates a lot of anxiety, is because they're afraid that if they disclose, they're not going to get hired.
Don't
So
have a
they hide
chance.
their disability, and occasions they want to, but we know that if we disclose,
The stigma.
the stigma, and it diminishes the opportunity. So I many times tell them, don't tell anyone that you have a
And
disability.
actually, these three individuals are young ladies. Like, I want to say it's not noticeable, although, like I said, to are considered legally blind, it's not noticeable. But on the other hand, I do have my older individuals. Just recently, I have a customer who's legally blind. He was working actually with City Laredo. He retired, but he wants to go back to work. He can't go back there because it affects his retirement or something like that. So now he's looking more of a custodial job. He has the skills everywhere because he's very active. You see him and you don't know that he's legally blind. But since he's been disclosing, it kind of seems that they don't call me and they don't call me back. So now we're having that discussion of what if, or you don't have to disclose. I don't know if you knew this, Mr. So-and-so, but there is that option of not to. So you have those people that do wanna disclose because they want to.
They wanna be
And we
honest.
had a conversation, of course, you know, maybe you're not gonna get the shift, the evening shift because you can't see, the darkness affects you, your travel skills and everything, but so we do have that difficulty where, okay, let's keep looking, let's call those people, because there are many open positions, for custodian or for maintenance, but he's not being given that opportunity. And he's just looking for employment, and he has like all of his experience, 25 years of experience with the city, utilities department, and that hasn't.
Yeah. And again, the whole conversation leads back to it's educating the employer.
Yeah.
That's it, bottom line. So if we can get in there and educate you and help you, they may not even know what they're doing wrong, because they're not educated in that area.
There's a little subject matter on the table.
But it's good because things like this stir up
Yeah, no, it's gonna be good.
an opportunity for growth. Everything's an opportunity for growth.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll see you there tomorrow at 1:00. Okay. Next item is, are there any announcements?
Yes, thank you. There's, Region One is having on April the 27th, a successful transition to employment after high school. And I spoke to Angie Hinojosa, who's a representative from here. If there's any employees that would like to step in booth for the special needs students, feel free, you can email me and I'll give you all contact information. I think we got workforce already. I don't know about Ceci. And it's on, at TAMIU on April the 27th. And it's for 8th graders and then 12th graders in the afternoon. For any student that has any type of disability. Hopefully we're gonna get at least 100 parents and students to go.
So this is for 8th graders and 12th graders?
The students and parents, and it's just to show what's out there. The 12th graders, there's employment opportunities. She wants to have booths available also, but we'll talk to different employers.
So you're needing employees to be present.
Yeah, I think she's working on that.
She's
but
getting them
she's
ready.
getting for it. If anybody wants to join, feel free.
Who's getting the employers?
It's Angie Hinojosa.
Angie from Region One.
Region One.
795-0000. 795? Angie, she was a diet.
Yeah, she was a dag,
She
right?
was a
I
diet.
gave her your name, I didn't know what your name was of your company.
We're Let's Go Texas now.
Okay, so I told her I will let you know so you can get a hold of me.
Yeah, we changed names.
Okay, just,
Yeah.
you call me. I'll forward it to you.
See, that's where the initiative of education and empowerability comes into play because the state's initiative is to do work experiences. When you're doing a work experience, the moment you say, I'm coming in with I was brought in by Ms. San Miguel, she works for the vocational program, automatically you're identifying that individual as a person with a disability. So the more contact and the more information they receive, the better it becomes for the individuals to get employed. So,
That's April 27th from what time?
It is April the 28th.
28.
Here,
That's a
look,
Monday.
it's April the 27th, I'm sorry. At Texas A&M University, yes, April the 27th. From
That's a
9
Saturday?
o'clock till 11 a.m. is all 8th graders, and then from 1 to 3 is all 12th graders. We want to have booth in the bottom for all.
That's a Saturday.
April the 27th, I want to say might be a Saturday. I think so.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
It's a Saturday.
Because the 29th is Monday.
Yes.
There was an invitation that was sent to you all from Dr. Gonzalez regarding an opiate.
Oh, yes, I
Yes.
want to attend as well.
Me too.
I was gonna
Yes.
reply
Reply.
yes, apply. Reply.
Yes,
So that will be here at
I will be here in the auditorium.
When is it?
The 30th.
The 30th, right?
April the 30th.
I don't remember the time is it?
No,
Morning?
we have two sessions, I think, for the Blue Ribbon, and we include in the morning session, which is from 9 to 12. It's a 2-hour session, so 9 to 11. And we'll resend the invitation, because I thought it was good for y'all to have that as
No
well.
brunch.
Yeah.
We have the vets coming, yeah, we have the vets
Bring
coming
your own
out.
doctor.
To the nursing school.
And you know what I saw, I don't know if you know how they say that social media now, they know everything because it so happens that you're talking about something and then it appears. I remember I talked about this with somebody and then the next day in my Facebook, there was an article about like, or there, something came up in the newspaper
They
and
say you're being recorded.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
so I'm like, okay.
Since we're talking about trainings, we are also hosting with Methodist Healthcare Ministries training regarding positive behavioral change. It's a general training. I can send you the summary. It's a free training. It's from 8 to 4, I believe. I will send you the link. They have a link to register. It'll be April 4th. It's a Thursday. They bring in that trainer, I forgot where she's from, but in reading the summary of the training and what it involves, it could be applied pretty much in any field or position. It looks like it's going to have a lot of good feedback, so I'll send you guys the link if you're interested. For that, they are hosting refreshments and that's why I remembered.
That's the vacant sinker.
Methodist,
Bring
most
food,
of
they
their
will
meetings,
come.
they go all out, they always provide.
¿Verdad?
And that won't be
Tour
here.
classes and
So
things.
it's about positive,
Behavioral
Especially with our
change.
parents.
It was kind of a lengthy title, so I'm probably not saying it specifically, but I'll send you all the information if you're interested in attending. That way you can just register through the link. Because they're capping it at 40 people, and it'll be here at the auditorium.
Thank you.
it's a counselor giving the training.
I believe so. I believe the bio is included as well,
Okay.
so I'll send you guys the info.
Any other announcements? No? So do I hear a motion that we can adjourn? Do I hear a second?
I say.
Okay, so thank you all for being here today.
Thank you.
Mr. Delgado, thank you for joining us.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Mr. Delgado.
Bye-bye.